Testing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, guys. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Say yes if you can hear me, and no if you cannot. I was gonna put my cowboy hat on because I think I could start. I could start seeing these grays, honey, in my hair. I can't have that. Cannot have that. Anyway, guys, hi. So it's Wednesday, and this is Dana with the Data podcast. Did I do a show last week on Wednesday? I think so. I think I did. I be forgetting. But I'm back, and oh, yes, I did. But I said that I'm going to focus mainly on the migrant crisis on Wednesday. So I have two guests. I have the new party. They're coming back on tonight, and they're going to be in the first hour. And then the second hour, I'm going to have the ladies from Chicago, because we're going to have to talk about what's going on with the mayor of Chicago, Chicago School Board, and of course, the migrant crisis update in Chicago, and Chicago going red. So I'm going to have Miss Jessica Jackson, Miss Doris, P. Ray is back, and I may have a new lady. Her name is Latasha, but that's going to be in the second hour. The first hour, we have to talk about Hurricane Milton. It's supposed to hit land tomorrow, Thursday. So I have the new party, Nora and Gray. They're going to come up, and because they live in Florida, and they're right smack damn near in the middle of it. So we're going to talk about that. Of course, we got to talk about Kamala and her mishaps. Listen, when I did the show Monday, the views were kind of low. And I don't know if because I had first put Israel Hamas in the title and I changed it, and we was talking about Kamala. I think it's because Kamala Harris is doing damaged herself on her own campaign. She's damaging herself. No one has to really talk negative about her because she's tanking her presidency, will run a presidency campaign herself. So I think because the left has the social media tech people like Google, YouTube, Facebook, and all of them under their thumb, they're, I think, telling them to turn down the algorithm on negative Kamala Harris content. That's what I think. The algorithm is racist. It is discriminatory. It is bigot because they do shift the algorithm towards certain content depending on the group. Like Black people, they're going to shift it towards Diddy and celebrity and gossip and BS. Not so much on politics. So I said that to say, guys, hit the like button and share this video, right? And of course, most importantly, it is still my birthday season. Y'all think I was playing? Do you really think I was playing when I said that I'm celebrating the whole month? That means every time I do a live, you're going to hear me mention it. You're going to hear me promote my birthday registry. If you would like to buy me a present, go to the registry. It's pinned in the chat. It's pinned in the description. You could send me a Cash App. That's $ Dana with the data. Or you could just write on the guest book, happy birthday, right? But I am celebrating. It is my holiday. People put in my comments, oh, just like today, she think her birthday is some holiday. Who she thinks she is? Yes, and I did respond. Yes, it is a holiday, and it's the only holiday that I celebrate. I celebrate my grandkids' birthdays and my birthdays, and that's it. I don't celebrate holidays. My birthday is my holiday. So this is my birthday season. And I also told that person, if you do comment again that's outside of the video topic, I'm just going to hide you from my channel because y'all are going to learn to stay on topic. What you put in a live chat is one thing, as long as you're not breaking the community guideline rules. But commenting under the video, stay on topic. And I kind of want you to stay on topic in the chat as well. But it is my birthday season. My birthday was Monday, and I got how many more days? 20, 22 more days. Yes. So yeah, I'm not playing. And that's just me. You don't have to do it. You could find it repulsive. You could find it, narcissistic or whatever. I don't care. There are people who do support me. And I do want to acknowledge the new party because they bought me a birthday gift. Yeah. Nora.
Hi, everyone. Good evening and happy birthday to Dana.
Thank you. How are you?
Stressed.
Yes. Okay, so Nora, you live in Florida. I was about to say Chicago. And you are in the pathway of Hurricane Milton.
Yes.
So what is going on the ground in Chicago? Not
In
Chicago,
Orlando.
in Orlando.
Is yeah. So to be specific, we have a unique group for the new party. I live in Orlando. Gray Mars lives in Clearwater Beach,
Mhm,
and D White lives in Jacksonville. And this storm is very unique because it literally is impacting the entire state. And I'm originally from Hollywood, which is like outside of Miami. And
mhm,
I have family there, and they were impacted as well. There was tornadoes all day across the entire state. I've never seen anything like this from Miami up to Jacksonville, where the whole state is impacted at the very same time.
mhm. Well, okay, so when is supposed to hit landfall? It's but Thursday?
No, it actually is going to make landfall this evening in 1 hour. They're approximating it's going to hit outside the Tampa Bay area. It will be over me Thursday at 2 a.m. in the Orlando area.
Oh, okay. So are you going to get flooding? Is it going to be a lot of damage? Do you need to evacuate? Like what is the current status right now?
So I can tell you for everyone that lives in Florida, we've been experiencing rain in Central
I
Florida
can't hear you.
nonstop
Oh my
since
God.
Sunday.
Give me one
We,
second.
Mhm.
Testing.
I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to go out and come back in, but you just
Okay.
keep talking.
Okay. So we've been experiencing nonstop rain since Sunday evening. So everyone, please, if you have a way to donate to the hurricane relief, we're really going to need it. I don't know what's going to happen. I do think it's going to be as bad as they're saying. I know that they try to scare people and tell everyone to leave, but I think this is the storm. Yes, Southern. This it's about to hit Sarasota within the next hour. This is the storm I think of for my lifetime of the century. So I think it's as bad as they say.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's my broadcasters. Like I just stopped hearing everything, but you guys can hear me if I'm
Mhm,
talking, but I can't hear you. I don't know.
mhm.
All right, so let's do this, right? Where is Gray?
He's in Clearwater. I don't know if he lost power because we had a live stream earlier and he didn't make that one. It was just me by myself. And the
Oh,
other guy on the show lost his power too, and he lives near Gray.
D White.
No, Slim, 85 Slim. He's someone new that we're adding to the cast.
Okay, okay. Wow, okay. So right, because Gray is right in the middle of like he's gonna get hit the worst.
Yeah. I really am praying for Gray. If you guys can send prayers for Gray, he literally lives 2 miles from from Clearwater Beach. He's within walking distance, and he did not evacuate. He lives on a hill though, to to make it better. But I mean, yeah, he's at the heart of it.
Okay. Well, I wanna of course Kamala went trending today, right?
Yeah, she
And
said live. We're live. We're live.
but so they're trying to say that she was being fed they were trying to say that she was being fed questions because they got the Biden administration and Biden and Kamala, they got a lot of negative feedback. Let me see something. Okay, good. They got a lot of negative feedback regarding FEMA, the way they handle the Hurricane Helene, because Hurricane Helene just left Florida last week, right? Or 2 weeks ago.
Correct, Dana. Hurricane Helene just left Florida 2 weeks ago. Um, And here we are again. I mean, it rode the coast of us, and then it hit Jacksonville dead on. I mean, not Jacksonville, Tallahassee dead on. And it made landfall in that area. And actually, Florida, we saw damage, but not. as bad as the other states. I mean, it literally got stronger over the other states.
Mhm. All right, so let me play this clip.
Flood. We really got to watch those areas and those communities. So it takes quite a while for that water to drain.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Ken, I have a question for you. You mentioned words matter, and I know there is a lot of to the people of Florida, and in particular the people of the Tampa region. We urge you to take this storm seriously.
Flood. We really got to watch those areas and those communities.
So they're trying to say that she was being fed a question. It's a live broadcast. Harris told her team before reading her notes. So they were basically saying to the people of Florida, and in particular, this is one of the reasons why I don't take her seriously, because you can't, if you got notes in front of you, you can't even just read it. It can't even flow, even with the notes in front of you. It just sounds like you're scrambling all over the place. And who is she talking to when she's saying it's a live broadcast? I mean, maybe it's just a mishap, but what? Because you are in Florida, and I don't know the severity of the damage where you're at, but you could see the damage in other areas. What are your thoughts on the Biden administration response as far as FEMA, bringing in aid and cleanup and stuff like that?
So my first thought is, before she did this last night, she was drinking a beer on the Tonight Show with someone on one of the night shows, and I just thought, how insensitive. I was angry when I saw that, because there are literally people starving right now. There are literally people that do not have access to the $750 that she talks about. And to be clear, they don't give that out to everybody. You have to qualify for it, and you have to have an extreme need to get it. So it angers me to know that the money was routed to migrants. And then it angers me even more that they're lying and they're saying, oh, no, that's not true. That's misinformation. It's so funny. I read an article from CNN, and in the same sentence, they're calling it misinformation, but they're also doing like a word scramble. And they're saying, actually, it did get moved because it was a crisis for the migrants. Like, what's the difference? Like, it's the same thing. The money's not going towards American citizens' disaster relief.
Right. So and that was like the big breaking news. They're also sending money to Lebanon, but the cleanup, it was just a slow response to the cleanup. And so what I'm seeing now with Hurricane Milton, she's constantly, giving she called it to CNN, she called into the Weather Channel. She
called Ron DeSantis and he didn't want to take her call, and I don't blame him, because she's never called before for any of our hurricanes. We've had hurricanes for 4 years now that she's been part of the Biden-Harris administration. We've never gotten a call from her. I've never seen her come and care about us before. All of a sudden she cares now.
And this is the question, though, because why is it she's only the vice president? Why is she acting like the president? Isn't that the president's job to be calling a governor and doing all these, press conference and holding it? Isn't that the president's job, not the vice president?
Absolutely. And he took President Biden's call, but he refuses to take hers because he realizes it's a political play and he ain't going to give her the spotlight. I mean, let's talk about boots. Who is really doing boots on the ground? And I don't mean to push people towards him, but President Trump has his hotel in Miami right now. And I don't know if people know this, but he opened up 250 rooms for the linemen so we can have people that are able to come and help with the response. I mean, Too Little Too Late by Kamala Harris. She's in a line, she was in some line. She couldn't even help with the damn line. She was running her mouth, putting toiletries in a bag. I mean, I think this is the October surprise. I'll be honest with you, Dana.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's doing damage herself. Let me play this clip. This is her calling into, I guess, the Weather Channel.
There are federal resources you are entitled to receive without condition. And there are resources that are available to you to deal with what you need right now to, for example, get money to be able to fill your prescriptions and deal with a hotel expense and help you recover over the longer term. The other point I would make is this, and I've done this work in my career. Sadly, there are some folks who during the moment of a crisis will be very predatory and start jacking up prices like gasoline or hotels or airlines to take advantage of the desperation people are experiencing. So to anybody who's thinking about jacking up those prices, those companies that are thinking about doing it, know that we are monitoring and we're watching. And if there is that kind of price gouging, that there will be a consequence for that, because it's just wrong to take advantage of people who are desperate for help. And so know that we're watching that as well.
I didn't understand what she was basically saying.
Dana, does she sound intoxicated to you?
She sounds like something. She doesn't, first of all, she doesn't sound like a leader. She doesn't sound presidential. And she's talking about people in their prescription. But if it's a hurricane, is she talking about the before or after? Ain't nobody going to get prescription during a hurricane.
No.
So, yeah, I don't understand. I don't get it. So this is Ron DeSantis, because somebody was saying to him about misinformation and he had to respond back.
So obviously the storm is very dangerous and you've been pushing for evacuations and whatnot. There's also misinformation out there that I think even a member of your team has tried to dispel online. I know that the FEMA administrator brought up other reports of misinformation. I just want to know your thoughts
what
on
specific misinformation are you talking?
There was one. There was one tweet that was telling people not to evacuate because there was some collusion between FEMA and a security team that wouldn't let people back into their homes. That was obviously.
Guys, listen. I think most people are wise to this. You know, we live in an era where if you put out crap online, you can get a lot of people to share it, and you can monetize that. That's just the way it is. But if you're hearing something that's just outrageous, just know, in the state of Florida, none of that stuff would ever fly. So you don't have to worry about that. FEMA is not leading this show. We are leading this show here in the state of Florida. We're marshaling whatever assets are available to us. We're leveraging that. But certainly with people evacuating, in my executive order, I put in on Saturday that the default is you have a right to immediately return to your home following the storm. Now, there may be some circumstances that are not usual, but I mean, if a bridge is about to collapse, if there's real massive hazards, if there's active rescues going on, but the default is you get back. You can't just say, oh, we're just going to keep people off for 48 hours because we think it'll be easier to clean up debris. No. This is your private property. This is your home. You have a right to go back. So that's in our executive order. That'll be something that we work towards to make sure that that's the case. It's important that people are able to get back. And I'd also note, we talk about the debris, get all this debris, right? These contractors, some of them were doing a lousy job, others weren't. And we decided to take it on ourselves to go really surge people and supplement that. But by keeping the landfills open 24/7, there was a lot of private citizens that were going cleaning up debris, bringing them back. And these guys got like Ford F-250s. They're bringing them back to the landfill drop-in. That was a huge help. So there's not going to be anything where FEMA is ever going to be able to keep you from your home. Be careful about the nonsense that gets circulated, and just know that the more titillating it is, the more likely somebody is making money off of it. And they don't really give a damn about the well-being and safety of the people that are actually in the eye of this storm. It's all just trying to monetize what they're doing. And I know there's been a lot of stuff about what FEMA's done in other states. Look, I haven't been there. I don't know. But I can tell you in Florida, we are leading this train. We're marshaling all available resources, federal, state, and we're supporting local. And that's the way it's going to be. So you can have confidence in that. Yes, sir.
So I've heard, and there were a couple of people like content creators and people on X, they were really giving Ron DeSantis his props. It was like, whether you like him or not, whether he's presidential, like he probably doesn't fit to be president because he doesn't have that pizzazz or whatever, that it factor. It was like he doesn't do well in debates. But as for the governor of Florida, they were saying he gets the job done. Like he is more of he takes action. He just, if it's an issue, he want to get it resolved. Hurricanes, they say he's always on top of it.
Yes.
Is that true?
I've been living in Florida for 30 something years. I will say this is the best response I've ever seen living in the state by a governor. We haven't lost power that long. He's mobilized the resources so they can get to us faster. I know there was an issue with the trash not being picked up, but he reminded everyone and he said, look, that's not my responsibility. That's a local responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. But when it comes to allocating money, whether it's, state money, federal money, outside resources, dealing with FEMA or even the private sector, bringing in private companies to help with the cleanup, he's on top of it. He's more of an actionary type of leader, and you need that in these situations. So he does. A lot of people do give him that praise, whether they agree with his politics or not, whether they're Republican or not. Now, if you do have Democrats, of course, whether they are in Congress, Florida representatives, or your state legislator, Democrats, I know they're going to try and criticize the governor. But
they are.
But I look at it, if it's a state crisis, such as a hurricane, like, you have to put politics aside. But I just don't see Kamala Harris, she in a leadership position. She is acting as president. And my conclusion is they're trying to put her in these positions because, one, President Biden, his health is deteriorating. He's not even lucid, probably, allegedly, all the time. He can't govern at all. And then two, if she is not elected in November, he's probably going to step down, or they're probably going to make him step down so that she could be president for 2 or 3 months, right? But I think they are deliberately putting her in presidential positions now, I guess, to get the feel of things or to get that experience, but she doesn't have it. To me, she's failing. I can't stand to hear her talk in a serious conversation when it has to do with a crisis in this nation. She sounds horrible. No one wants to follow her. She has no leadership skill, no knowledge, and she giggles and laughs at every damn thing. So I just can't take her seriously, and it's a shame because she is a woman, and women are already second guess, and have a hard time in certain positions. Well, you're just setting women back even further.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, she is not someone that I take seriously. And again, like I said earlier, she sounds like she had a glass of wine before she takes most of those calls. I can't help but to think she sounds like she had a glass of wine on that call today. And she's not a leader, she's not strong, she's not dominant, and she's not respected. And people, I know people are going to try to make this be about a woman or a race thing, but heck, I feel the same way about Tim Walz, and he's a white man. They're both goofy.
Yeah. But a lot of times men still are allocated that respect when they walk into a room, and as opposed to when women do. But she makes it worse. She makes it worse. And what I'm starting to see is like, okay, she's constantly in front of a camera this week because of her Hurricane Milton. They are trying to appear to be doing their job and on top of everything, as opposed to what happened with Hurricane Helene. And this is her again. I guess this is her from her office doing another PSA about Hurricane Milton and what the federal and state and local resources are doing.
We've been working around the clock to prepare for Hurricane Milton and to ensure that people are safe, including ensuring federal, state, and local resources are being coordinated in a smart and efficient and effective way. We have also been in constant contact with the leaders in Florida to make sure that we are cutting any red tape that might get in the way of getting relief to folks, to make sure also that communities receive the resources and the support that they need as quickly as possible. Already, we have sent more than 1,000 federal personnel to be on the ground in Florida to assist with what needs to happen in the state to prepare for this hurricane, and we will continue to scale up those efforts. To the people of Florida, and in particular, the people of the Tampa region, we urge you to take this storm seriously. As has been said, before. This is a storm that is expected to be of historic proportion. And many of you I know are tough and you've ridden out these hurricanes before. This one's going to be different. And so we ask you that by every measure, understand it's going to be more dangerous, more deadly, and more catastrophic. So please listen to your local officials. They know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing. And if you are told to evacuate, please evacuate immediately. Do not wait until it is too late. And in the hours and days ahead, President Biden and I and our administration will continue to do everything we can to protect the people who have been in the path of this storm. And once the storm has passed, we will be there to help folks recover and rebuild, as we continue to do for those communities in Florida, Georgia, North and South Carolina, and across the Southeast who have been devastated by Hurricane Helene.
You know what? Let me just pause it there, because they should have gave her a teleprompter instead of notes on her desk, because she's looking down too much.
I know you guys have written this out before, but it's unlike anything you've ever seen, and we know why. But we won't talk about why, because we're on YouTube.
Right. But I'm just like, again, it sounds good. And you dropped the ball from the last hurricane, because you're worried about what's going on overseas and sending billions of dollars. But to keep looking at the paper, that means you have not read it beforehand to even try to memorize 3 lines, right? Just tell them to get you a teleprompter so you can look in the camera when you're talking about a national disaster that's about to take place.
Well, you want to talk about misinformation. For example, on our channel, we did a video yesterday, and Gray did not believe that Mayorkas, Gray, for those of you that don't know, he's a Democrat and he's voting for Karras. He did not believe that Mayorkas admitted to on camera, admitted to in an interview that the money was reallocated to the migrants. He said we were making that up and it was misinformation. He then sends a text out to us, and I can share this because he says he's going to apologize to us on camera. And he said, I'm so sorry, you guys were right. He really did say it. But they're saying it's misinformation.
Right. And the man said it. And I covered that last week.
Yes, you did.
We pulled up the actual documents of the federal government, or of the Biden administration. They call it shelter something, where they are allocating the money for migrants. And they try to change the word to give them instead of calling them migrants. But, okay, so she's doing this in her office, a PSA. She's calling in the weather station. She was on a conference call, and they aired that live broadcast on C-SPAN.
I got to give them this, though, Dana. That was, I think, I don't like the Biden here, so hear me out. Please don't attack me in the chat. But I think that was very smart what they did by airing this, because they're getting ahead and they're saying, oh, well, we're transparent, no misinformation, we're united. Because I'm going to tell you the rumor I heard, Dana. Rumor I heard is Biden don't want her to win. And Biden has been giving props to DeSantis, and she don't like it. That's why they did this.
And didn't DeSantis take Biden call and not her call?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I heard that either she was doing an interview or a speech, but he went live.
Yep.
At the White House during her interview or something. So while
he's never been to the press that's the interesting part. He's never been to the White House press room before this. That was the importance of it.
He went to the press room with Corinne.
Right.
And was that the day she had on that zoot suit or no?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So he was cutting to get the views off her onto him, because he knows that what Nancy Pelosi and all the DNC heads, what they did behind his back in front of his face, we could just imagine what was said behind closed doors to sit him down and to prop her up without even having her be voted in the primary, to run for presidency. So she just skipped the line.
Yep.
And, she's calling CNN about Hurricane Milton. So yeah, she's trying to get in front of it but I still I don't believe it.
Americans who are in the
Dana, as somebody that lives in Ohio, do you think Americans are watching this and being impacted? I mean, because I mean, I'm in it. I'm in it in the South. But do you think that people that are not in it are understanding the significance of it?
Well, in Ohio, because like where I live at, especially in the Cleveland area, is heavily blue, right? But
Mhm.
majority of Ohio is red. It is a red state. Sometimes it flipped, like it flipped under Obama, but it definitely went red for Trump. But they said, why would he talk to a VP? What she got to do exactly? So why
Right.
is she being propped up doing all these press conferences she's doing and satellite and live streams? That's for the president, not for a VP. I've never seen a VP do that. So I guess she feel as though, well, talk to me because he's not completely here. He has health issues. They're literally trying to push Biden, but DeSantis is not having it. He's like, no, I want to speak to the man in charge, and that is the president, not you.
Right.
Like, remember your place, right?
Right. But she's never called before, and he knows that. That's the point. Like, if this was something they've done their whole administration, I would understand her calling again. But hell, you didn't call for Helene. Why are you calling now?
Right. And it's like y'all didn't do anything but drag your feet, giving on people only $750 per household, at the same time sending billions of dollars to Lebanon. So the FEMA saying they don't have money for the hurricane season, because this is still your hurricane season. Like, how long does hurricane season last?
So it ends November 30th. And I apologize if my signal's a little choppy. I hear the winds they're picking up. So just giving you a heads up about why the signal's not good to everyone watching. But yeah, November 30th.
So you have like a whole month and a half, damn near 2 months.
Yeah, I know. This is crazy.
Wow.
And they said there's another one coming.
When? In 2 more weeks?
I think so. I laugh, but I have to laugh or I'll go crazy.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot. It's too much, and it's an election season. You're dealing with a migrant crisis, and that's everywhere and just about every damn state. And now this hurricane season, and now people are being shadow banned if they're talking about weather manipulation and stuff like that, which is, I'm not getting into that, but this is hurricane season. So it's Mother Nature. I don't know if there's some extra stuff. However, it's just pretty ironic that you have 2 major hurricanes back to back. Like, when do you have time to recover from the first one? So, and then people need to leave, but where are they going to go? There's nowhere to go.
Thank you for touching on that, Dana. And for everyone watching and saying, why didn't you leave? Why didn't you leave? Can I talk real quick? I'll say this. There was no gas. A lot of gas stations ran out of gas. Number one. Number two, I don't know if y'all saw the highways. And another thing Governor DeSantis did is he opened up the highways. So instead of like the crossing lanes, he made sure all lanes were available for passing that you're not supposed to drive through. But there was no way really to get out. And then gas, there was no gas. And then lastly, hotels, there weren't hotels available. So I mean, for everyone, and the fourth thing, flights, they rose the price of flights to $1,500. I don't know if people realize that. So if you have a family of 4, that's $6,000 right there. Where are you going to get out and go to? There's nowhere. And the whole South is impacted right now, other than Alabama with Helene.
Right. And DeSantis spoke about that, how people are trying to monetize off of this, disaster, and which is not right. I mean, listen, if it's a private company, you could price however you want to price. But I think, especially when we're talking about the airlines, because wasn't the airlines pulled in front of congressional committee sometime this year because of the plane parts and stuff like that? But they need to be pulled back in front of Congress on, okay, why are you intentionally hiking up the prices by 75% when it's a damn hurricane and people trying to evacuate?
Right.
It needs to be some type of monetization, not monetization, some type of cap, some type of regulation when it comes to that. So I wanted to show this video, and I thought it was interesting. Where is it? Oh, this here.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So this video actually gives a good illustration of what flooding looks like in a hurricane by feet and the dangers of it when it gets to like a certain point. So let me.
So what does that look like? Well, let's show you. Imagine this. So what does that look like? Well, let's show you. Imagine this. Imagine 3 feet of storm surge right here. Now, if this amount of water catches you by surprise, it's too late to evacuate. Cars are floating around and floating away. There's large objects in here that could knock things down with a battering ram-like force. Now, there's no way, again, to evacuate with this kind of storm surge. But we know there's going to be places with more than 3 feet. Imagine 6 feet of storm surge. Now, this completely floods out the first floors of homes and businesses, and the only way to escape that is to move to the higher floor of a building. Now, unfortunately, there are going to be places that get more than 6 feet of storm surge flooding. Imagine this, 9 feet and even beyond of flooding, of inundation. This is practically not survivable. So please follow the advice of your local officials when they ask you to evacuate. And if you have any questions about what evacuation zone you're in, if you need to go and or where you need to go to floridadisaster.org. And by all means, everybody, please stay safe.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I will tell you from people, like I have a good friend, her father, he woke up, he went to sleep, he said he woke up, he hears a splash and his cat was swimming in the water. He looks down and the water's up to his bed. So this is real, guys. I mean, it does happen this fast. I saw someone saying that that's not true, but I mean, unfortunately, it is maybe quite not as dramatic, but it does happen. And this happened in Tampa last week, and now here they are again, these poor people dealing with it.
Right. And Gray, you said he lives right in the middle of what, Helene and Milton, where it's
He was
coming.
affected by both. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think because if you're not from Florida, or if you don't live there, you really don't know the severity. You know, even in New Jersey, when we got hurricanes, I was more inland, so I didn't live down near the shore. So it's like, yeah, you get a lot of rain, you know, it may be some power down, but it's not major flooding like that. And I think people don't realize, they think that because that looks like Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
But a Katrina doesn't happen every year. But 9 feet, 6 feet, that is something that is consistent in Florida during hurricane season, correct?
Correct. And the other thing is the level of these storms is unprecedented. You know, I'm not going to say why to avoid that, but it's been unprecedented that we've never seen this back to back like this.
Right. I want to kind of like switch gears. Anything else you want to say on Hurricane Milton?
Yeah, someone wrote in the chat about hills. Just to be clear, James, you're clearly not from Florida, because there are hills. In Tallahassee, there's hills, and there are inclines and steeps, and he happens to live on an incline, luckily. That's the only thing I want to say.
Oh, okay. Oh, that one in there, James.
Yeah.
All right, so I got about 20 minutes for the ladies of Chicago come out to get into Chicago, but God, let's get into a little bit of pop culture.
Yes.
The Piers Morgan debacle. So when was it? Last week, Jaguar Wright went on Piers Morgan. She was buck dancing like crazy, you know, being polite, blah, blah, blah.
I know.
But then you want to call into a black man show and be nasty and rude and all this. So she said some things about Jay-Z and Beyonce. And Piers Morgan didn't check her to tell her, no, we're not going to do it. He didn't retract it. He just said, well, they're not here to defend themselves.
Right.
Well, Beyonce and Jay-Z, the Carters, their lawyer contacted Pierce Morgan and his camp and basically told him, edit out that part, I guess, or take it down when Jaguar Wright was lying on the Carters. And if you don't, you're basically going to have a problem.
Right.
Where's the thing at? And so he edited out and he got on his program and he apologized. And let me just say this, Pierce Morgan has a history of being very nasty, very nasty. And he is from the UK. And in the UK, they're very messy when it comes to their tabloids. But over here in the US, you know, you want to say that, you know, we're arrogant, we're spoiled and all this. And yes, we do have freedom of speech and freedom of press, but you can't be reckless, right?
No.
Especially when you're dealing with people who have a lot of money, a lot of power, and their reach is very long. So this is Pierce apologizing.
Well, Jaguar Wright unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves, but now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. But, like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. We apologise to Jay-Z and Beyonce. Well, Jaguar Wright unexpectedly.
What are your thoughts? I mean, let me go to you. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I did a show on this and we got the clip. So if you want to check it out, head to my on what she said. So my thoughts on this are this. Jaguar Wright has been going after Jay-Z for years now. This is nothing new. I do agree with you that she was very respectful with him, but on any other hip hop channels, you know, she gets pretty aggressive. So it's like night and day with her. So I agree with that. But I mean, I don't like censorship, Dana, and I feel like they're what she's saying. He didn't say it, so why edit it out? He didn't edit out all the other crazy things people go on his show and say about all sorts of other people. So why edit this out? But again, Beyonce's the queen, so I'll just say that.
Well, it's not because she's very popular worldwide. And Ebony Eye says, you know, why respond? Jay-Z and Beyonce are afraid. Dana, Jaguar struck a nerve with Jay-Z.
Facts. I agree.
She struck the wrong nerve. And I don't think it's a nerve of, oh, I'm scared of, you know, the truth coming out. And this is the thing here. Excuse me. Because I'm a content creator. You're a content creator if you want to be monetized. If you're working to be monetized and you're looking at this as a business, this is a business for me. So when you are in the media world and you certain things that you say, which is reckless. Now, they're not going to go after Jaguar Wright because she's a bum. She doesn't have any money or whatever. True. But they would definitely go after a Pierce Morgan. Why? Right. Because first of all, your reach is longer. You have over 2 million subscribers, right? True. So you get probably over 1 million views a day. And you have somebody on your platform that is lying, but that's trying to pass it off as the truth to defame and discredit, you know, and belittle and assassinate someone's character and lifestyle. So you're talking about these fallacies as if it's a fact. So yes, it should strike a nerve, because if people like Beyonce stand up to this type of BS, it does help regular folk. And I think people miss that. And then two, people need to and I don't expect civilians to understand that, because you're not a content creator, you're not journalist, you don't do this as a business, you don't even do it as a hobby, so you'll never understand. But when you're coming on, whether it's YouTube or any social media platform or eating media platform, and you want to spit lies like that and those serious accusations as if it's the truth, there's consequences with that, and rightfully so. Because let's just say it's not Jay-Z and Beyonce, and somebody said something that was not true and accused you of something, not on social media, but at the school board, spreading lies and rumors about you. You're going to take action with that. It's the same policy. So he's
Right.
supposed to be a journalist, a seasoned journalist, right? He's on YouTube with the rest of us, but he has a very large following because we are now I think we're bigger than mainstream, the YouTube, I
Right.
mean, content creators.
True.
But you should have known better. And just saying, well, they're not here to defend themselves. That ain't the point. They're not trying to defend themselves to her. You should have said to her, you don't know that for a fact. Do not accuse or throw accusations that you cannot prove. So they did the right thing. Now, it wasn't no cease and desist. And people need to understand this. Where's the clip at? Because I have the clip. Okay, so this TMZ, and they interviewed the Carter's lawyer, Alex Spiro.
Oh, wow.
This must have been shocking to you that somebody comes on a show and then kind of levels these vague-ish allegations. Were you kind of ready for something like this to eventually happen?
Listen, there's rumors and then there's nonsense, and this is one step further, right? This is a pointed and formal accusation of something, and I felt it needed to be responded to. So I think somebody reported it was a cease and desist. It wasn't that. It was quite bluntly an ultimatum, which is remove that false accusation that's demonstrably false, or a court's going to order you to. And so I think he made the wise choice and acted accordingly.
He meaning Piers Morgan.
Removing it and apologizing for it, yes. What changed here in my mind is that somebody on a so-called journalistic platform exploited that kind of random rumor mill, whether it's disconnected from reality or what have you, and lifted it up. And by doing that, they not only caused harm here, but they are also droning out the voices of real victims. And by doing that to get clicks, it didn't just harm the Carters. What he did effectively was to drone out the voices of actual victims in an ongoing case, in an ongoing investigation. And that was too much for me.
Are you in the process of making sure that it is taken down everywhere?
What I am here to say is that in a situation as serious as this, somebody who puts themselves out as a journalist should not effectively take advantage of the situation and exploit somebody in this way. And so that's the real reason for action.
Does it strike you a little bit that there's been a lot of silence in Hollywood in the wake of all of this?
Well, as to the Carters, I can tell you that when they put their foot down on something as they did here, they are sending a message. And if they can't stand up and make sure right from wrong, then who can?
Right. So it wasn't a cease and desist. They gave him an ultimatum. Take it down, or the court will make you do it.
That's even stronger, right, Dana?
Yeah, because that lets you know, no, we're going to jump over the cease and desist because we're just not playing. Because you're talking about their empire, you're talking about their brand, and you're not going. And I feel the same way. If you are a media personality, celebrity or not, journalist, but if you are in the media world and you have somebody floating around here on media saying something about you, true or false, but they're saying it's not even true. It's not true. She could never prove it. She never tells you how she knows of this. She's just telling you something, and people are actually believing her, right? So if you're going to, just because it sounds good and people believe you doesn't mean that is true. You cannot prove it, but you're going to say something, and defame somebody's character. So yeah, I would take not, and then it's like, it's not even about the person that said. Sometimes you go after the platforms that they said it on.
True.
And
I agree with that part, but I'll say this. She did work with Jay-Z though. And I don't agree with her looping in Beyonce. I don't believe she knows who Beyonce is. But I think the reason what people struggle with this is there were things that she said that has been proven to be true. And for that reason, I see your point on why it's serious, because she was talking about Diddy and saying this stuff about him for years now. And it sounded crazy then, and then it was true.
But
So
she
I mean,
says the same stories over and over again. But all of a sudden, you
true.
want to bring up all these. She was not at those parties. She was never invited. She worked with
True.
Jay-Z one time, and that is because the person who was supposed to be the backup singer backed out, and she was the backup person for the backup singer. She worked with that man once, but you're going around saying, "Oh, we were cool, we were this." Okay, so if you were cool with him at one point, when did you stop being cool with him? So again, they don't have a history. They don't have a history. You never dated this man. You never did. But people don't understand that people want to be put on, whether it's TV or reality show, so bad that they would say and do anything. The same thing she's talking about is what she is trying to do to be put on, because she was left out for years. Now, Stone says when the truth comes out, make sure you come back and but no, I won't be apologized for not. What truth? What truth?
She'll never have the receipts of, I mean, whether it's true or not, she'll never be able to produce them, unfortunately.
First of all,
Unfortunately.
First of all, Diddy is not even guilty. He hasn't been proven guilty. He hasn't had a trial. And that's the problem that we're having here too in America, is that people are
quick to prosecute.
Yeah. They're allowing the media to be the judge and the jury.
True.
But we have a court system.
True.
So, and if you are saying that the court system should not work for these people because they're famous, well, what do you think the court system going to do to your broke ass? Because these people got a whole lot of money to pay for a dream team. You don't. So when you have the government, the federal government, even the state government, when you had a federal government coming in with all these crazy charges that you too, as a regular citizen, can be brought up on, you need to read the facts. So they're trying to throw minors in and all this other stuff. None of that stuff was in the indictment. He didn't get indicted on none of that. So what do you you're going to believe Jaguar Wright? Well, Jaguar Wright didn't give you details on how she know. She never said I seen. She never said on this. She never gave details. She's just speaking randomly.
True. I agree.
Let me see something here.
Someone wrote something interesting in the chat. It's a good point they brought up too.
What'd they say?
She came on a show to talk about Diddy. She took it upon herself to put Jay-Z in the conversation. That's why it was logical for Jay-Z and Beyonce to a lawsuit, because they had nothing to do with it. I agree, because she was looping them into something that has nothing to do with it. And that's going to paint a bad light when it's like one had nothing to do with the other.
Right. Let me see something here. I need to see. All right. I thought I was checking my email real quick. All right. I need to see, where are the ladies at?
Yes.
Nora, how are you on time?
Oh, I'm good. If you guys want to know what it sounds like right now, it sounds like buckets of water being thrown at my window. So apologize for the signal again.
I can't hear it. No, I can't hear it.
Yeah, no, but like my video is choppy because I think the way it's picking up the winds.
Yeah. Well, that I have to see a little bit, but as I'm saying, you in the middle of Hurricane Milton, honey. So, all right, wait a minute. Yes. I didn't touch your title. Okay, she's coming up in 3 minutes. Wait a minute. Right, I bet.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I can't stand the rain. That's what it sounds like right now. Buckets, buckets, buckets.
Okay, I see Miss Jessica. Um, Doris. Hi, Miss Jessica Jackson.
Hello, Dana, with the data.
How are you? Where you at? The
I'm
park?
hanging in there in my daughter's car. I told you it was her birthday, and so she went into a meeting, and I'm sitting in the car.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Can you
my
see me
birthday was,
okay?
I can see you good. My birthday was Monday, so yeah.
That's
Um,
right. Shout out to the Libras.
yes. So this is Nora. She's another podcaster. We was talking about Hurricane Milton because she's down in Florida. Her podcast is
Mm.
called The New Party. And Nora, this is Miss Jessica Jackson. She's in Chicago, community activist. I see Miss Doris, but it's saying device not connected. Okay, here she go. And now it's connecting. P. Ray
Okay.
said she's going to be coming up as well.
Okay.
Miss Doris,
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
we can hear you. We just can't see you.
So what do I need to do?
It should be something there for video.
In the show. Oh my goodness, where is it?
It should say start cam or stop cam.
Okay, let me see. Allow Kim. Okay. Allow this time. Did it come up? Did I come up? Oh, there I am. Oh,
Yeah, there you
okay.
go.
How
There
are
it is.
you?
I'm doing well. How's everyone tonight? Hi, Jessica.
What's going on with you, Doris?
We
Down
got
there
it
in
going on.
Mississippi.
You all look really good in your red today.
Didn't we?
You
Didn't
look
we?
really good. Yeah, I said they're doing it. They're doing it. I'm good down here. I'm good in Mississippi. We're not getting any rain from the hurricane in Florida, so we're doing well.
Okay. Dana, I'm gonna
I'm
send you a picture of us today in our red.
Okay, it's a feedback. Oh, P. Ray, I think you got to put like a headset thing in.
Okay, one moment.
Okay. And I'm gonna drop her down for a minute till she do the thing. Okay, so what was today? You was in your red because of what?
It was city council meeting today, and technically it was supposed to be the last city council meeting before the election. Okay, and so we came in our red, Chicago red,
Okay.
and right, and because we had Chicago red, he pulled Mayor Brandon Johnson pulled the same stunt that he pulled last city council, which was it's supposed to be two meetings today, one at 10 a.m. and one at 2 o'clock. And you can sign up to speak at each one. So what he did for the first one is what he does is he like buses in a lot of people so that they crowd the chambers and they make it less probable for your name to get pulled to speak. So for the next meeting, the sergeant at arms assistant came and told us go and sign up at 1:30 for the 2 o'clock meeting. So of course we did. We come back in the chambers. He sees that we're there again in our red. So he tells them to adjourn the meeting.
oh wow, that devil.
Oh yeah.
Unmute P Ray so I can hear your audio to make sure it sound good.
Yeah, this the mic and the sound is really bad for me. So I'm just gonna give me one moment because it sounds like nothing but the Matrix to me when you guys speak.
Oh,
One
really?
moment.
Okay, because
You know I'm in a nomad right now, so give me one moment.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, it sounds good coming out of. It sounds good on me, my end hearing her, but if she's having a difficulty hearing, so okay, so this is the thing we were supposed to. What I was going to do at first is pre-record on Tuesday evening because I wanted to talk about the Chicago School Board, the fiasco that's going on, right? And I do want to play some of the clips from Mayor Brandon Johnson press conference that he had, I think it was 2 days ago, regarding the school board officials that resigned or let go. And I wanted to bring you guys on to, talk about that. And of course, the migrant crisis, and a couple other questions that I wanted to ask you guys. What? Nora.
Right, somebody went somewhere.
Yeah, that was Nora. Nora's in Florida, so she's right in the middle of Milton.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, she's gonna have some problems with the weather down there.
yeah. So and we was just talking for the first hour, but all right. So let me. So yeah, so I was going to pre-record it Tuesday and actually air it today, but then it was like, well, I'll just bring you guys on Wednesday with This Is Live, because Tuesday evenings I usually do an X space with the judge, and so yeah, and I wanted to do yoga or whatever, but I wanted to have you guys come up to kind of give a more accurate account of what is going on with the Chicago School Board and how that migrant crisis is affecting, I think it probably does have some type of effect on the public school systems in Chicago. But let me share this real quick.
Okay.
All right. So this is one of the pieces. So during this conference, actually, no, let me play this one. Yeah. All right.
I'm wondering if any of the board members can answer this question. Actually, if all of you can, just maybe even just a show of your hands. How many of you support taking out a
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
For a teacher's contract?
If you have a question for the mayor of Chicago, you can ask me a question. What you are not going to do is litigate what the board has the authority to do once they're appointed. You can ask that once they are appointed. No. I'm not going to do it. It's disrespectful. Do you have a question for me?
Okay, I'm sorry. You brought them up here and it is a
Do you have a question for me? Ask me the question.
Okay.
Ask me if I support, I'm going to help you out.
Yeah.
Ask me the question if I believe that we should invest in our children and make sure we don't lay off brown and black women. Yes. Yes. I'm not going to tolerate cuts. That's what the issue has been in this city. You know what a better question would be? What are you willing to do with your power to ensure that a school district that stuffed black children in Willis wagons? What you should be asking me is, what are you willing to do when you had a district that have laid off black women? You should be asking me, what am I prepared and willing to do to ensure that our children get the education that they deserve? Anything necessary.
I'm going to ask my own questions. Thank you.
All right. So that was that one there. And then I want to play this second one here.
Okay.
Is this a good week to go to London for a Bears game? And also, who's going to pay for that trip?
Okay. All right. I'm going to London to attract business to Chicago. Okay? I'm going to London to attract business in Chicago.
But are you going to the game?
Hold on a second. Because you already know the answer to that. but I just want to make sure that you do the people of Chicago service, because I have to be very honest with you. It's pretty jacked up the way you frame that.
Right.
It is. It's disrespectful and condescending that the black man is going to London for a game. It's disrespectful. It is. And people get away with that too much. The governor went to Tokyo. The governor went to Tokyo to attract business. The mayor of Chicago is going to London to attract business. And while I'm there, I'm going to root for the Chicago Bears.
All right, ladies. So what are your thoughts on that?
Can you hear me, Dana?
Yeah, I can hear
Now,
you. It's going in and out a little bit.
Okay, because it said that I was muted. Okay. I was muted.
I muted you.
Oh, okay. Jessica, you want to? Well, I'll go. You know what? To me, he's insulting to me. When he's pressured to answer specific questions, he gets very upset, and then he starts playing the black card, and I find it to be very insulting.
Mm-hmm.
Answer the question. He said, you're laying off a black teacher. Well, what is he doing to hire black teachers? I gave him a contract. I pointed out to him that Chicago only had 20% of the teachers in Chicago were black. I gave him a contract that included all of his departments, and blacks are below all of the percentages in each one of those departments, except for maybe one. He didn't do anything with this contract. He didn't say anything about this contract. It was an agenda for the black community, contract for Black Chicago 2023. He had an agenda for the Hispanics, for the immigrants. That was a part of his platform, but he had nothing for black people. But when you ask him specifically about things pertaining to the school system, he always brings up, well, I'm going to do this I'm going to do, why aren't you asking me what am I going to do for black children? He's not doing anything for black children. He could do it today if he wants to. He has gotten rid of good black principals in that school system. Brother Abdul Muhammad is being one. The principal of Dunbar High School, these were strong black male principals who turned those schools around. They got rid of them. He could settle that today, but he has not done it. He only comes to the black community when he is in trouble. He is in trouble with the black community and with Chicagoans in general. So what does he do? He has a press conference in a black church on the south side of Chicago, because he knows he's in trouble. So he comes to us with this BS and he plays that race card. I listened to his press conference today, and they asked him about the money that he was trying to the money that he's trying to borrow, the $300 million that he wants Pedro Martinez to take out a loan for to help plug that deficit. And what did he do? He used slavery and said what Martinez failed to do, or what they didn't want to do, was equivalent to them saying that it was too expensive to free black people during slavery time. I don't like that. You don't trivialize our suffering. You don't trivialize what we've gone through in this country every time they ask him a question specifically about what he's going to do and people going against him. It's very insulting to me. I did not like it. I get tired of him doing that. He has a problem because he spent all his money on these illegal economic immigrants. That's why we have a deficit of $1 billion in Chicago. And I don't blame Pedro Martinez for not taking out a $300 million loan at 9 or 10% that the taxpayers are going to have to end up paying for. So I find what he did today, what he said today, was insulting to me.
So let's go back a little bit, because, it says school board members have now been invited to appear before City Council's Education Committee next week. Mayor Johnson nominated 6 new board members Monday following last week's mass resignation. So what is going on with Chicago School Board?
Well, back in, I know it was during the winter. I want to say maybe sometime in February. This is when Mayor Johnson, went to Springfield, solicited Springfield to support that school board. What was it, 1456, I think, something like that, where it would give him the authority for the first time ever to have what he called a hybrid school board, which would be 11 elected officials and 10 appointed officials. What he did was what he continues to do, and that is bypass a process in order to achieve a certain goal. Now, if he would have waited to election time, he still could have appointed those people, but he's forever jumping a process to get what he wants. But me, and I said this when we went to Springfield, I have no confidence in his appointments. None. When you look at the appointments that he's already done in City Hall, when you look at the power he's already given the school board, the last thing he needs is to be able to appoint the people. It's going to be more the same, even if he puts black faces on the school board. Because I think when I looked at it, it's a couple of black people on there. That's going to play out the same way you see it play out in City Hall. You have 20 black aldermen there, but they do what Mayor Johnson says to do. And what does Mayor Johnson say to do? Support these immigrants. It doesn't matter that black faces are there. What matters is he dictates an agenda. And I guess that's what I find more offensive than anything. The fact that we are hearing day in and day out about how the Republicans, or the Republican candidate in this case, Trump, is a dictator, when in real time, that's what we're seeing happening with the mayor of Chicago. He's straight out acting as a dictator. And if Chicago is the democratic machine that they claim it to be, look at the tone that it sets for the rest of the country, which makes it okay for this dictatorship type government that we're being subjected to right now. Something is going on in our government right now. And the easiest way to manipulate anything that a government wants or a public entity wants is to take it through the schools. That's the easiest way to do anything, because you have kids. They're the most vulnerable in terms of for education. It's a must-have. Parents need kids to be in school because they work. So it's like the same thing you saw them do with the jab. When they couldn't make anybody take it by mandates, what did they do? Put the mandate through the schools. See, the schools is tricky. And if he can appoint, which he did, his board members, once you got a school district, you got the city.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Dana,
saying?
I was never for an elected school board because I knew what is happening would happen, just like Jessica just said. I was never for it because I knew that it would be very politicized. And I remember when Harold Washington said during his administration, he said, there's one thing you do not want to happen. You do not want the mayor of the city to take over your school system. And he was absolutely right, because everything that he said has come to fruition. So I was never for an elected school board because I know how political it could become. He's going to appoint 10 will be elected, and the 10 that are running, these are people who support Mayor Brandon Johnson, just like the ones that he's going to appoint. They're going to support Brandon Johnson. And the reason this school board resigned, according to news reports, is because they said they were tired of being pressured by Brandon Johnson to get rid of Pedro Martinez. Because for the most part, they got along with Pedro Martinez, and they were supporting him in terms of not taking out a $300 million loan at a 9 or 10% interest rate, which the taxpayers are going to end up paying for. So that's why they are resigning, according to the news reports and everything that I've read, because they were tired of him. So what does he do? He comes in, he appoints 6 people today, and all of these people are his hand-picked people because he's indebted to the Chicago Teachers Union. They gave him $2.3 million for his campaign. The American Federation of Teachers gave him $2.2 million. The Illinois Federation of Teachers gave him $1 million. So he's indebted to the Teachers Union. I was with the Teachers Union in Chicago for 37 years. It is not the Teachers Union that I became a member of when I first started teaching in Chicago. To me, they are a bunch of gangsters now. They're asking for an additional $50 million. And for that $50 million, they're asking the city to pay for their members if they want to have an abortion. They're asking, they're saying they want the LGBTQ community, they want that agenda, that curriculum in the school system. So you know what? So if a lot of this doesn't have anything to do with the children, the children of the city of Chicago, right. And the latest report I just heard today, they're asking for all of this. Oh, and also they're asking for a 9% raise. We never got a 9% raise, and they're also, and only 31%. I read today, only 31% of the 8th graders are reading on level. Only 19% of the 8th graders are on level in math. So these teachers are asking for all of this money, and here these students are not performing at level, at the rate that they performing. It's all about the Teachers Union. It's a gangster organization. It's not an education organization anymore. So he's indebted to this Teachers Union, and that's why he's trying to get that money. But if he had not used all that money to house, to clothe, and to feed illegal economic immigrants, we would not be in this position that we're in. And the taxpayers of the city of Chicago are going to be the ones funding that bill, that budget.
Well, okay, why does he want a $300 million loan? What is that for?
To help plug that budget, that deficit that he has, and to pay, and to also contribute to the Chicago Teachers Pension Fund. See, the city of Chicago is responsible for funding the Chicago Teachers Pension Fund. So he's out of money because he used the COVID money. He's used all the other money that he had access to help take care of these illegal immigrants. That's why he's in a bind. And that's why he wants this new board in place, because they're going to support taking out that loan.
Oh, Ms. Doris. P. Ray, let me say something, P. Ray. Let me see.
Hey, is this better?
Yeah, you don't have your ear thing?
No, I told you all my setup burned up. So I'm telling you, it had to be Juju. But is this better? Do you need me to improve?
No, it's good. So if you're not talking, you could mute yourself, and then when you talk, just unmute.
Okay, no problem. Now, but before we do that, I want to go back on something that Miss Jessica said. So shout out to Miss Jessica. We took had a ball today at City Hall, like we always do. But I stayed afterwards and I talked to some people about the procedure that happened today. And actually, this was a great thing that happened today with them canceling this meeting. And the reason that it was a great thing is because now it cancels out the entire demand for the meeting itself. And now the former board members are going to be subpoenaed by the city council to come and testify as to why they're leaving the board. And so once they come and they testify and they talk about the bullying and intimidation that the Johnson administration has pushed on them because they don't want to take out this loan, then that becomes coercion. That becomes corruption. So shout out to Anthony Beal, who made that move today. He also blocked every single thing that the mayor tried to do. If you know Robert's Rules of Order, you can run a meeting how you want to run it. And so today the rules ran the meeting. It's funny because someone else said that, oh, they're going to be like the new Vidoli Act 29. So for those who don't know, there was a group of aldermen during Harold Washington's time, and they blocked everything that he wanted to do. And so they said that this is reminiscent of what happened to Harold Washington. That's what's about to happen to Brandon, because Brandon decided to get rid of that shot spotter contract. And the aldermen did not want to get rid of it. And so now they're going to get their licks back. And so today was them passing the first lick, and I cannot wait until the subpoenas come out, because we're really going to find out the reasoning, you know, the true intent of what Brandon Johnson did by coercing the board to quit.
Well, let me say something about that, P. Ray. This is my position on this. From going down there all the time, I don't understand why city council doesn't do preventive maintenance. Okay? I'm sick of everything going far left. Then after it goes far left, now here they come talking about they want to do this, they want to do that. Some of this stuff can be stopped, cut off at the knees, and they're not doing it. See, this even all the way up to and including this $1 billion that we're messed up with the city. How many times have they had the opportunity to tell him, no, we're not voting on nothing else? You've already overspent. There's no more money. And they go right along with it. You know, even this thing with all of it, shot spotter or whatever, they already knew he didn't have something in place for that. So no, we're not going to vote on it. We're not going to support it. You know, no, at some point they got to let Brandon Johnson be out there on his own. At some point, I've never heard them not one time stand up and say, where's black people's money?
That's
Well,
right.
well, that's because they're looking for a yard sign money, ma'am. So this is the thing too that you gotta understand, that a lot of them are with these different organizations, and these organizations are paying them to do these things. So they are indebted to their donors and not the people themselves, which is why what we're doing is so amazing, because we're showing the whole country that we don't gotta take this. And we don't mind taking off work. We don't mind paying for parking. We don't mind standing in the line, because we're going to let you know that you can't play with our money like this. And I think now the aldermen are starting to see that our movement has gained real traction, and they don't want to be the villain of the story. So we're about to see the mayor get abandoned in real time, in real time.
I have a question. The mayor in this press conference from 2 days ago, he's blaming prior administration from taking or mismanaging the teacher's pension, the school board pension. So he's blaming it on prior administration. Does he have a point? Because he's only been
Yes, ma'am. He does. He does. So the Mayor Daley's nephew was in charge of investing the money of the Chicago Teachers Union. However, he invested that money into those subprime loans, and we know what happened to that market. So it literally imploded their pension. on top of the fact that the city of Chicago is obligated to donate to the Chicago teachers pension. And they've just been, not donate, to fund it rather. And the city's just been kicking that can down the line. Now, what Lori Lightfoot said is that the city is not going to fund them anymore. And it's going to be up to the Chicago public schools to make that payment to the pension. And here we are. Everybody's kicking the can. Nobody wants to be accountable. But the real issue is that the money got burned up in the subprime crisis.
But see, they know that they know that.
Ma'am.
Wait, what happened to Miss Doris? Child, she in Mississippi. Is she in the country in Mississippi? Because the Wi-Fi, Miss Doris, honey, because the Wi-Fi was popping the last time she was up here, and then she was in Chicago then. Now she in Mississippi. Is she out in the? Oh, I'm muted. I'm sorry, Miss Jessica. I'm muted.
Yeah, she's by the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, that's nice down there.
Right, that's where she is. So she might be having issues. What did you say, Dana?
No, I said, is it up in the woods? I see her down here. She's trying to reconnect. Let me see something. Is this her? Oh yeah, it's thinking. I don't know. It's the Wi-Fi in the house where she's at. All right, so
look, I'm not,
Wait 1 second, Miss Jessica.
Okay.
Miss, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Miss Doris? No, she's going in and out. So, Miss Jessica, when you're not talking, just mute, and then when you talk, just unmute yourself.
Okay.
Miss Doris, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I don't think she can.
Yeah, I'm back. It's telling me to move closer to my router. Let me get over.
Yeah.
People in the comments were saying that Miss Doris was an actress because there's no way that an 80-year-old woman looks like her. And they were like, this is not real. These people are all playing. That woman's not 80. She's making all of this up. And I'm like, Miss Doris is just it. What are you talking about? Of course she's a real person.
I just turned 80 years old, June 27th.
Yep, I told them, but they thought that you were lying. They said that you were a young woman just lying and pretending to be something that you were not because you look so youthful. That's what they were saying, that they didn't believe that you were 80.
Well, thank you for the compliment.
All right, so this is a question I want to ask, and then I want to swing to Chicago Go Red and of course the migrant crisis. Just testing. So, and I want to ask Miss Doris this question because you were a school teacher in Chicago, correct?
Yes, for 37 years.
So your 37 years as a school teacher in Chicago, and what is going on now? Like, what have you seen throughout the decades? And when we're talking, he's talking about the pension being mismanaged by previous administrations, and he needs $300 million. You have school board resigning. Have the school system, the public school system in Chicago, always been this corrupt or chaotic?
When I came to Chicago in 1975, it was one of the best systems that you could ever want to work in. It was a wonderful system. But when Richard Daley took over the school system, which is 2010 program in 1998 when school reform came in, and when Daley took over the school system, it started going downhill. Yeah, they mismanaged the money too, but that is a given. That is a given for anyone who runs for the mayor of the city of Chicago. One of your major responsibility is to fund the Chicago Teachers Pension Fund. So I don't accept these excuses from any of those mayors. I didn't accept it from Daley. I didn't accept it from Rahm Emanuel, and I don't accept it from Brandon Johnson because he knows that is one thing that he is responsible for doing, and that's funding the Chicago Teachers Pension Fund. And so you cannot do that when you take the money and you're financing illegal economic immigrants in the city of Chicago when you brought over 50,000 illegal immigrants into the city of Chicago? What did you expect? What did he expect? He spent all that money on those people. So that's why we're in the, he has contributed to the problem. Yes, they've all done things that they shouldn't have done. Daley didn't do what he was supposed to do. Rami Man, all of them did things, but he knew that going in. He was a Chicago teacher. He was a part of that same union. So I don't want to hear this nonsense from him. I'm sick of the politicians making excuses. We vote for you to go in there and represent us and not to squander the money. And then we have to end up as taxpayers paying for your foolish, knowing mistakes that you know you're making when you're doing it. I don't accept that. And I'm sick of these politicians. Brandon, I wish we could recall him tomorrow because we are in trouble in that city. It was a wonderful system to work in. They've come up with all kinds of things. And when you look at only 31% of the 8th graders are reading on level, only 10% of them are able to do math, it's a crisis in that city. And Black teachers have, when I was in the system, we were like 45% of the teachers were Black. It's down to 20% now. And he's talking about, aren't you concerned about what's happened to the Black teachers? He's not concerned. What is he doing to hire them? He's not doing anything to, the student body is 35%, 36% Black students. We asked him in that contract, we're 29% of the population. We want every one of those departments to represent the population of Black people, 29%. Black people need jobs in that city. But what has he done? He's taken all this money and he has taken care of people who are not citizens of the United States or the city of Chicago. So he brought that on himself.
So basically, your 37 years, you've seen
it's gotten progressively worse.
Right. And
progressively worse.
And under his leadership, because of the migrant crisis, and he's basically allocating all of these resources to the illegal migrants, a system that was already an issue, he just broke it. He literally he's adding to it to where it is literally broken. Is it repairable? Is it repairable?
Yeah. Yes, it's repairable, but he's got to get the finances together first. It's repairable. Anything is repairable.
How long have you been retired?
I worked up until COVID. When COVID took place, I went back in as a substitute counselor and teacher because they're in such need of teachers. There's a shortage of teachers.
Officially retire?
Pardon me?
When did you officially?
I retired in 2005.
Okay.
But then there was a need for teachers. There was such a shortage of teachers, and I had some principals to call me to ask me to come help out in their schools, and that's what I did. And I did it up until COVID hit.
But you were able to get out with your pension intact during a good time.
Absolutely, yes.
What's going on now. Okay.
Right. But when they closed over 100 schools in the city of Chicago, and a lot of Black teachers who were almost to the point of retirement lost part of their retirement because they closed the schools. And most of those teachers that were affected by that were Black teachers because the schools that were closed predominantly were in the Black community.
Now, under which mayor were these schools closing?
Rahm Emanuel.
Very important.
They started closing a few, and then Rahm Emanuel, he closed a lot of them when he was in the mayor.
So we also, on a larger scale, when we talk about the school closing, we have to tie that to the housing crisis because the majority of the schools closed in neighborhoods that were completely demolished under the administration of Rahm Emanuel. So let's think about it like this. In Chicago, we have 2 flat buildings. So you have an apartment on the top, an apartment on the first floor, and then a basement unit. So let's say we have 4 children per building, okay? If you tear down 6 2-flats, that's 24 kids. That's a whole classroom. We are missing thousands of units of housing in the city of Chicago. We had them tear down the Chicago housing projects. That
displaced over 100,000 Black people in the city of Chicago. Then we had this 200,000, excuse me.
2,000, yeah.
Yes, over 200,000 people. Then you had the subprime crisis that caused the homeowners to lose their homes. And so then once the people of Black Chicago lost their homes, the city of Chicago sent cranes and demolition trucks to knock their houses down immediately so that you couldn't even work to try to get it back, okay? And then the housing that was maintained, the majority of that housing is now going to Hispanic people. Because Congressman Danny Davis, who's my congressman, used to be over the housing committee, which is why I know so much about housing. But then he left the housing committee for the Ways and Means committee and gave that position to Louis Gutierrez, who then gave it to Chuy Garcia. So the Hispanics are controlling the federal housing in the city of Chicago. So I say all of that to say we don't have the bodies for the schools, and the schools had to close because we don't have the houses for the children. Like, this is a big game that they've been playing with us for a very long time because the land in Chicago is very valuable. We are the center of America. We are America's distribution center. So no matter where you live in the city, the best neighborhood or the worst neighborhood, that's valuable land. And they've been actively trying to get us out of this city since the Civil War. And they thought that they were going to get it this last time, and boom, we showed up, and no, it didn't work again.
And that's why they brought all these immigrants. They're still trying to run us out of the city. And when you close schools, people have to go someplace where they can find a school for their children to go to. And that's what's happening. That's continuing to happen in Chicago. And it's by design. It's by design. They could rehab a lot of the units, the houses in the Black community, but they don't. They go tear them down, or they take your property, as they're trying to do with Jessica's family's property. They literally outright take Black people's property.
I want to switch to public policies and the migrant crisis, and I want to play this clip. And this clip is of Miss Jessica. I seen it on X. Let me just share it real quick. I'm gonna unmute you in a minute, Miss Jessica. All right. So I'm gonna play this. It's about 3 minutes, and then we could get into the conversation of public policies and the migrant crisis and what the elected officials are doing about it. And then I want to talk about the Chicago red. Go red. Can you hear that? Yeah, I can hear that. Okay.
Scan the room right now. Scan the room. Scan the room. Scan the room. Scan the room. Zoe, get right here. Get right here. Scan the room. Scan the room. Put it on YouTube. We're getting ready to make this go viral. This is Chicago. This is Chicago City Council. This is how they show up. This is how they ignore the citizens. This is how they break the law. And then they want to turn around and make like we are wrong for not supporting the Democratic Party. But this is what the Democratic Party looks like in the city of Chicago, doing public speaking. They don't show up for a quorum. They on their cell phones. That's Jasmine Yancey right there, who's trying to sell out South Shore to super low income condos to make the city look like the projects. Okay? Right. Now you got Conway. Is that Conway or Conway? Conway over there on his laptop because he ain't worried about a thing. He a rich white boy. Okay? And then you got Taliaferro and you got Cardona right there. Okay? I'm hoping that they paying attention. Taliaferro, I want my rights protected with my case. I trusted you and some other people, and I believe that you're trying to do the right thing. But you are in a corrupt situation. Get that light bulb head, Richard Rodriguez. See, looking like a Chucky doll. See how he has no respect for the citizens. Y'all want to be famous? Y'all want to be famous? Let's make them famous. They're going to Raymond here. Okay? He's trying to read so he can pay attention to what's coming up. There's Quinn right there. He all right, he paying attention. Pat Dowles is right there. She looking up there. Maybe she'll pay attention, maybe she won't. Richard Rodriguez, y'all zoom in on that clown. Zoom in on that clown. He's the most disrespectful individual that you've ever seen. Now he's gonna stand up. Oh, he looking at his boy Tommy. What you need to co-sign that he's a knucklehead? See, they engage in this type of rhetoric and nonsense. Look at it. That's the reason why we are $1 billion in debt, because we got knuckleheads like Jason Irvin at the top. Yeah, put this on YouTube. We gonna make Chicago famous. Y'all want to be famous, but disrespecting us and disrespecting your citizens, we're about to make y'all famous. We got 30-some days to get Trump in office. Come on, Trump. Come on, Republicans. Come on, y'all. Come on into Chicago. Set this off. Trump, come on, Elon.
Come on in here.
Come on in here. Come on, y'all. Come on. Up in Chicago. Return this red. Turn the red.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
What was that meeting about?
What was that meeting about? That was a budget meeting. Jason Irvin is the committee chair for the budget. And what made it go in that direction like that is because, see, they so disrespectful. Like they say, as the head is, there goes the body. Now you saw how Brandon Johnson was talking to the press. You saw his tone, his demeanor. Okay, that has trickled down to city council. So now they do things like what Jason Irvin wanted to do that day, to start the meeting without a quorum. He had first called George Blakemore to speak when nobody was even in the room except for Jason Irvin and us. The city council members weren't there. So Blakemore refused to speak because he's like, y'all don't have a quorum. We're not speaking to an empty room. But they wouldn't let it, they wouldn't correct it because they don't have to. You see the type of person and the type of leadership that Mayor Brandon Johnson offers, and they fall in line with it. So when we decided to go ahead and public speak, go ahead. So when they called me, I just figured put them on blast. And that's what I did, because the city, the country needs to see this is your democratic machine of Chicago. This is supposed to be the model for the Democratic Party in the United States of America. This is the democratic machine. This is why we as a people are in the situations that we are in, because the Democratic Party is giving us inept leadership like what they have given us. And we turn around and keep supporting it because they're black. We keep falling for the okie doke. That's why Brandon Johnson can do like what he did at this press conference. Go gather up a bunch of black preachers, black organization members, stand them behind him, root him on, even though they know he's wrong, even though they know he's playing the black card, even though they know he's not going to deliver. But we're going to put these black people here for ops. And now you got that population of black people that eat that up like steak. And this is how we stay in the situation that we're in. And my goal is to show city council every time I'm down there that you inept, you want to be unprofessional, you don't want to carry on city council like the legislative government body that is supposed to be. Well, then this is how you get treated by the public.
So, but how are they responding? How are the local, politicians? How are they responding?
Well, it depends. If they see us by ourselves, right? If they see us by ourselves, they support us.
What you say?
They tell us to keep it going. They tell us they appreciate the things that we say, the things that we do. But then take a day like today when City Hall is when it's City Hall, and now Mayor Johnson is there. Like they say, Daddy's home. Now it's a whole different attitude. Now they act like they don't see us. Now they act like they don't know us. Now they act like they, they have speak. That's why I pretty much can't get on board with the let's say things like what P. Ray was saying about Anthony Bill. Because all of them sit right there and watch them disrespect our rights. None of them in there today said, wait a minute, Mayor. You got the public speakers. You got the public here. They've been waiting. They go right along with that. Every now and then when they know the cameras are there, they'll get up and do a speech to make TV, to make it look like, and that's what we saw with Anthony Bill today. But if they really was about us, about the public, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't show up with no forms and stuff like that.
My question is public policies.
Yeah.
So, all the women up here, y'all have been at these meetings, speaking out loud, consistent, not once a month, weekly. Any public policies have it been put on the table for a vote? Has any public policies been passed specifically for your neighborhood, for your community, for Black people, for people in Chicago?
No. So what has been happening, but we haven't gotten any policy. But I would say that the voting behaviors of the aldermen have started to change. For example, there's this one alderman. I like her as a person, but I don't like her politics. She's all the way socialist. From the South Side, but she a vibe if you hang out with her. She's like the lady that you want to meet at the barbecue when you don't know anybody, because she's going to introduce you to everybody and make sure that you got the shish kebabs in the back, right? She's really, really kind. Anyway, socialists, 10 toes down with them. We started showing up and saying, like, y'all not serious. We need this money for us. We want more money for our neighborhoods. And now that whole progressive council is starting to dwindle more and more and more. And that's actually evidenced in the letter that the city council sent to Brandon Johnson. 41 aldermen signed a letter against his decision of appointing this new board and letting these people quit. Never in the history of my life have I seen 41 aldermen sign on to a document opposing the mayor. That's typically how it does not go. People, we have rubber stamp council, but now they're starting to see again, we're not going to stop. The nation is catching on and they feel embarrassed. I truly believe that they are starting to feel embarrassment and they're starting to feel slight within themselves, because I'm going to say her name. When Jeanette Taylor voted against giving the illegals more money, I said, aha, this is working. So we gotta, I'm always about grand people grace and, all that good stuff. I just say we are in the middle of a crisis and they know that we are in a crisis. Okay. They know it. They know that they are responsible for it. And so now they're trying to slowly ease out of what they got us into, but it's too late. The toothpaste is already out the tube. Now we got to figure out what we're going to do with it. But I think in the long term, it's going to turn out to be something better, because I can see a change in what they're doing.
And what's going on with Chicago Red? Did you want to say something, Ms. Doris?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So what's going on with Chicago Red?
Thank you for asking. We're still out here, still doing our thing. We're actually having a large city rally on October 20th. We're pulling it together, which is why I have not told the public, but we're pulling it together on the back end. It's going to be held at the Regal Avalon Theater on 79th and Stony Island, which is a landmark in the city of Chicago. The owner of the Regal actually reached out to me and told me that he appreciates the work that we're doing. He himself is a victim of Chicago politics as well, because he bought this beautiful theater. The guy, let's say he's 39 years old. He bought this theater cash. The city of Chicago will not give him the permits to fix it up. They won't give him any grants to fix it up. Nothing. And this is a Chicago landmark. And he says that he believes that he's being targeted by this Democratic machine too. So he has granted us use of the parking lot of the theater, which is a great thing, because it's very difficult to have these public demonstrations on public land because the mayor can come shut us down. So that's what we own. We still educating the people, still out here talking to the people, doing what we have to do. Honestly, I posted this on my X account, but I was at the gas station yesterday talking to the guys. You know, you got to agree everybody when get out the car. And I was talking to this guy, and he was talking about how he had been on the phone for an hour with the state trying to get his food stamp card cut back on. And the card has been off for 2 months. And he like, now you see, I've been in this line. I mean, I've been on this phone for an hour. They ain't make them illegals wait on no phone for an hour to get thousands of dollars. And I'm doing this for my little $70. And he said, you know what? I know one thing, man, look, any MF that don't vote for Trump this time, we beating them up. You know, like we're not playing. Everybody is doing it. So now it's a mentality that this is a black move. This is like, you know, this is our thing. And because black people set culture, now it's the people's move. You see, it's no longer Trump is the racist. Trump is the pedophile. He's the this. He's We say in Chicago, bring the boats, planes, automobiles, and trains. These people got to go now, right now, and that's what people are voting for. So
I have a question because outside of Trump, with Chicago going red, what about going red when it comes to local officials, when it comes to the governor of Illinois? Because to be the governor of the state of Illinois, you got to win Chicago. If you don't win Chicago, you're not going to be governor. So what about?
So we got an attorney candidate, Bob Fioretti. Bob is doing actually very well. God bless you. He used to be an alderman in the city. He was a victim of the Democratic Party too. They redistricted him out of his ward. So he said once they got done cutting up the map, his house wasn't even in his ward anymore. So he left being an alderman. And he said the Democratic Party has left him, and now he's running as a Republican to be Cook County State's attorney. Last week, the Reverend Jesse Jackson endorsed him, a Republican state's attorney. And so now everybody's like, whoa, you know, what is this about? Also, my Congressman Danny Davis, I talk about him all the time, but he has this back to school parade every year. So he did the back to school parade, and guess who was on his float? The Republican Bob Fioretti, because the Democratic candidate is a horrible person named Kathleen Burke, who locked up an 11-year-old boy, railroaded him into a case. He stayed in jail for a year. He eventually got out, but she was one of those white liberal prosecutors that was locking up children during the super predator era. So we saying, hide your kids, Kathleen coming, because she'll lock up your baby too. And it's working. Bob is being very well received across Black Chicago. He has signs in Black Chicago as a Republican. Nobody picked them up, kicked them over, rolled on them, nothing. Because we understand, again, we know who our enemy is. We know who the enemy is. We don't have to keep going back and forth, and we're not going to give them a chance to hurt us again.
I'm sorry.
Fioretti on his float, but Danny still supports the policies of the Democratic Party. Now, one thing we have done, we are making the citizens of Chicago aware that we have to look at these policies, not identity politics, but policies. And so that is making some headway in Chicago. I voted for the Democratic Party in 1965 when they passed the Voting Rights Act. That is when I first started voting. I voted for the Democratic Party. I have been voting for the Democratic Party ever since 1965. I will not be voting for the Democratic Party anymore. I'm going to be voting my interests. I'm looking at the policies. I don't like the policies of the Democratic Party. They are destructive to Black people now. Abortion, immigration, LGBTQ. Those are not those policies are not advantageous for Black people. Black people are not concerned about abortions. Black people are concerned about jobs. Black people are concerned about their children in the city of Chicago getting a good education, which they are not, and I know that they're not. This is what we're concerned about. So the hell with the Democratic Party. It's a gangster party now. They're talking about freedom. They don't even want people to voice their opinion against what they're doing. They're trying to sanction people like they've done Robert Kennedy Jr. And this man comes from a legacy family. He left the Democratic Party because of what they're doing. So we have to start looking at policies, voting our interests. Don't be voting for Black people because they're Black. Because we have over 5,000 Black politicians in the United States of America. But look at the condition of where Black people live. Look at our condition.
And it's yeah, look at it. And let me ask you this, Miss Doris, because honey, you 80 and you've been in the schools and you've been in Chicago school system for 37 years old. So you done seen some things. You don't went through some, you don't seen it all. And that's what I said, like between you and Judge Joe Brown and I'm not gonna really put Jessica in that box, but but between you and Judge Joe Brown, y'all done seen different administrations come and go. So when you say that, things have to change, can you honestly say that is true, that Black people need to get their shit together and make that change happen?
I am of the opinion, as an 80-year-old woman, grew up in Jackson, Mississippi, still go back to my hometown, and where I grew up, it looks like a bomb has been dropped, and most of those predominantly Black communities in Jackson, Mississippi. I am of the opinion now, P. Ray, that we need segregation was good. I lived in a segregated community growing up in Jackson, Mississippi, but it was a productive, segregated community. Now, we fought against Jim Crow, but as I said to Brandon Johnson a few weeks ago when I went before that county board, and I said to him, he is a disgrace because of the policies that he's passing in the city of Chicago. He's a disgrace. But I could go back to that segregated community in Jackson, Mississippi. It was intact. The Black community, in some parts of the Black communities in Chicago, they're not intact. They're destroyed. And then now you brought all these illegal immigrants from around the world and dumped them into our communities, pushing us out because the Democratic Party knows that Black people are fed up with them. So what did they do? This was a strategic plan on the part of the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party. The Democratic Party has allowed 20 million illegal immigrants to come into this country. And they're all over Chicago, but more specifically in the Black communities on the south and west side of Chicago, running us out of those segregated communities where Jessica's mother's property is. That was an upper middle class Black community. Now Desmond Yancey wants to put low income housing in that community. We don't need any low income housing in South Shore. We need family homes. We need them to fix up some of those dilapidated 3 and 4 or 5, 6 bedroom units, beautiful apartments. You can't even find them today. That's what we need Brandon Johnson and Desmond Yancey and Black aldermen to do in Chicago. Save our communities. They're down there doing the same damn thing the white people were doing. We don't need them in office. They're not representing us. And we've got to take these people out. If it has to be a revolving door, let's take them out. And as Jessica said earlier, the city council, that's a legislative body. They're responsible for the policies down there, but they go along with all of that mess. They sit there disrespectful, disgusting behinds down there and disrespect us as law-abiding, concerned citizens. But we have made a difference, and I will give Jessica got it started. They walk when we're talking. They're eating when we're talking. They're doing everything. And what do? We call them out just like she did today. Call their low life behinds out because they're disrespectful to us. They don't do that to the white people. They don't do that to the Asians. They don't do that to the Hispanics, but they think they can do it to us. Oh, hell no, you won't do it and get away with it. We're not playing with these people. Brandon Johnson, I don't want to hear your damn complaints. You knew what you were getting into when you ran for that office, but you got your low life behind in there, and you had an agenda for immigrants, illegal immigrants at that, with our tax dollars. Those are our tax dollars, and he's going up on the taxes. He's going to have to go up on the taxes to fix this budget. What did he do with ShotSpotter? He vetoed that. These are things that the community needs.
They found 6 bodies so far. 6
bodies
on the city of Chicago in areas where ShotSpotter once functioned. So it's a horrible thing, which is why he's getting so much legislative pushback right now. But I think that Brandon thought because he's a black man from the west side of Chicago, black people were just going to go along with it. They never expected for the Negroes to revolt. Nobody planned Negro revolution in the city of Chicago, okay? And now
and then he goes before these black ministers. When he gets in trouble, he goes to the south side to some black church with some foolish black minister. And wherever the church
press
is.
conference that he had the other day.
I was there. I was sitting in the audience. So let me tell you how this went. This was the wildest press conference I have ever seen in my life. So the first 2 rows were the press. And so I got there super early and I sat in the front. And so I started noticing all of these preachers coming in. So I'm talking to the preachers, greeting them or whatever. But I noticed that these were mostly South Side preachers. And again, Brandon is from the West Side, and the West Side has their own preacher organization that he did not utilize at all. So they come in, he starts talking, and then the protesters pop up, and they have these signs that say, "Fire Brandon. This board is illegitimate." And so they're screaming. They put them out. And so as Brandon is talking, I'm talking back to Brandon. Okay, so he's talking, I'm talking. And so security comes over and he taps me. He's like, "Yo, I know who you are, P. Ray. They told me to put you out. I'm not gonna put you out, but you're gonna have to calm down." I'm like, "Nah, we ain't calming down because he played too much. This is a game. Look at these clowns he got up there." Because it wasn't just preachers, it was like pseudo political influencers, but these are like lifelong sellouts, right? And so I'm like, if there are certain people on this stage, it completely delegitimizes the entire stage. So his goal was trying to get the black image back on him. So he went and he did that press conference Monday. On Tuesday, he went to see the nation. So he has this picture circulating of him and all of the Nation of Islam leadership in the city of Chicago. So what he's trying to show, I believe, is that he still does have the support of the black community, but those people don't necessarily represent the black community. It's all a show. And they're doing this, I believe, because the people in DC, the very higher up people, are saying, "Yo, get your niggas under control." Like, they're doing too much. That it's too contagious. Do something. Show the world that you still got control. And he doesn't. It was actually horrible. You saw he was in there screaming. He was only aggressive with the women. They asked him, "Why are you doing this? What's the board about? Who are you appointing?" He's all snide and snippy and sassy. He was up there sweating. I think he's completely overwhelmed. But he has lost the vote. He has lost Chicago for the Democratic Party. And someone said that he's doing this because they might try to hurt him. That's why he got to show that he with the preachers, he with the nation. He got people backing him because he has made a grave mistake for the DNC that's going to cost them the election for generations. Because we got Mama Doris, she represents a generation. Miss Jessica represents a generation. I represent a generation. And then I got my baby love. She represents a generation. So she's watching this as a child. And this is why you see more and more children on TikTok making anti-Kamala videos, right? Because those children are dealing with the effects of this failed policy that they're putting forth. So it's over with, but Brandon trying to show that we're with him, and we are not.
And that was a setup with the nation. He set them up to get some credibility. That was a complete setup. And let me say this, Dana, I get very passionate. And the reason I feel the way I feel is because I'm concerned about the future of our young people. Our young people. They talk, the immigrants are coming in here to make a better life for their children, their future. What about the future of young Black boys and girls in Chicago and all around America? That is why I stay involved, for the future of our children. Who is standing up for the future of Black children? They're pushing abortion on us. They're not pushing it on the Asians or the Hispanics or the whites. They're pushing it on us. And this Black man, Black woman, they've got, that divide that they continue with us. I am tired of it. And I started talking about segregation. That, I think, in my opinion, is going to be the only thing that's going to save us. We've got to get away and build up our own communities, get these Arabs, get these Asians, get all of these people out of our communities who are taking the money out and giving nothing back to the community. We're going to have to make some serious decisions about sacrificing sacrificing for the future of our children. I don't have to be doing this, but this is for the children, our children.
I've said that before, like we need to really invest in the kids, because that's the future. Not my generation, not even my daughter and my son. They're 31, 25. They're adults. I'm talking about the kids under 18, under 10. We need to really start investing in those. Very important, because other groups of people, that's what they're doing. They didn't stop doing that. So, and they're getting all of these resources. One more thing. Well, let me just comment on this when it comes to Mayor Brandon Johnson, because we see what's happening to the mayor of New York, Mayor Eric Adams. And I don't know if it's specifically these black mayors, particularly black men mayors. I think, I think Mayor Brandon Johnson, he's not answering to the governor. He's answering to the Biden administration. And if he does not fall in line, he knows he won't be on that chopping board like Mayor Eric Adams. He doesn't push back against the federal government. Mayor Eric Adams kind of did, because he knew that the migrant crisis in New York City literally is breaking the city. That city is broken. Same things happen in Chicago. But Brandon, at least I haven't seen it. He has not once criticized this administration, but he knows that he cannot, because he will be in the same situation with these federal indictments as Mayor Eric Adams. So he's the token Negro puppet that's going to, stay in line and push their agenda, which is important for Chicago. Not even a state, but just that city, Chicago, to go red. Because if Chicago goes red, so does, I think, Illinois. Definitely. One last question I want to ask you, ladies. Are black women, it's two parts. Are black women ready to vote for a black woman president? And do you think black women are ready to vote for Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris ain't black. But there are black people, particularly black women, that say she is. Aside from Kamala Harris, are black women ready to vote for a black woman president? Answer that first.
If she's a foundational Black American, and if she's in touch with the Black community, the issues of the Black community, the history of Black people in this country, if she's that type of Black woman, I can vote for her. But other than that, no, I wouldn't vote for her or anyone else who cannot relate to what we've gone through in this country.
If she qualified, yeah. We would be team Kamala if she was qualified. I think that we have to move away from these identity politics. In the city of Chicago, we have the most Black elected officials of any place in the country. Okay, so we have been under Black female leadership. We got a Black Cook County Board president. We got a Black president of the Water Reclamation. We had a Black mayor, a Black female mayor. So this Black female leadership is not new for us. I think that Black women trusted each other enough to know that we are capable to do whatever job that we're going to put forth. But that woman also cannot be compromised, right? Kamala, even if she is a Negro, like to Ms. Doris's point, you got to be Negro centric. You got to be America first. You got to be talking about the issues that we need. But I'm not going to vote for you because you use a pressing comb. No, I don't care about that. That doesn't impress me. And that's not going to help push any policies to help me and my baby.
Right. Miss Jackson, can you hear me? I think she froze.
Oh.
Can you hear us?
I don't know.
Oh, she's freezing. You freezing up. All right, let me
Tony Predwinkle is Black. Lori Lightfoot is Black, but they didn't give a damn about the Black community. Tony Predwinkle could help Jessica with her mother's property, but she's not doing anything. all these black people in positions of so-called power down there. They could help her tomorrow, but they're scared of white people. These Negroes are scared of white people.
And that's what I'm getting at. So when I say it's not so much vote because she's a black woman, why vote? I don't think black women are qualified. Kamala's definitely not qualified, but Kamala's not qualified. Black women are not qualified, let's just say, to be president or to even be in a lot of positions that there are now, because they don't do anything for black people. They are puppets. They're doing the opposite. They are putting illegal migrants, the LGBTQ agenda. They're afraid to even say the word reparations.
Gotta stop calling them migrants. They are not migrants. Our ancestors, Miss Doris is a migrant. When she left Mississippi,
no, I'm not a migrant. I'm a descendant of enslaved Africans who were dragged.
I said illegal migrants.
No. Let me finish. A migrant is a citizen. We learned this in 4th grade. A migrant is a citizen. That's somebody who moves from one portion of the country to another portion of a country for economic reasons or to improve their lives. An immigrant
in that
same country. An immigrant comes from outside the country, which is why when Miss Doris and our grandparents came up here, it was called the Great Migration, because they were migrating from the south to the north. These people are immigrants, and that's the thing, y'all. They use our language to validate
immigrants. You're right.
Yes. And that's why we got to stop saying that, because they will think, oh, well, black people migrated to the north. Well, these people are migrating too, and we not the same. We are not kin. We are not peers. We have nothing to do with them. So we got to keep those lines very crisp so that there's no overlap. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And the Democratic Party is the one who coined that, migrant.
They did.
And the Democratic Party is the one who started to compare them to us. How dare you? How dare they do? You can't compare those people to us. They walked across that damn border on their own free will because Joe Biden told them to come here.
Right. I want to give Miss Jessica your thoughts. Did you hear the question? Black women, are black women ready for a black woman president?
Yeah, I heard the question, but I'm not going to get jumped on by your chat in the audience because I don't, hey. I'm not getting jumped on by your chat in the audience. I'm going to let y'all have that.
Oh, I got your back, Jessica. They can jump on your back. I got your back. I got your back. And as an 80-year-old woman, I hope people who are listening to us will listen to me. This is serious. We are in trouble in this country. They are here to run us off the land, take our property, take our job, everything from us. These people don't care about our struggle. They're here to get what we have. They don't care how they get it. And this was the doing of the Democratic Party, not the Republicans. They can't put this guy on Donald Trump.
What was you going to say, Miss Jessica?
They afraid to try to get me in trouble. Well, this is my thing. I think that, first of all, as it pertains to Chicago and politics, personally, I think all of it needs to be uprooted from the inside out. I don't think none of these people that's been in office since forever, all these people that got the connections of 50 years here, 40 years there, it has done nothing but made a mess of this city at this point. I think a whole lot of new things need to happen. Now, the second part of your question, as it pertains to a woman leadership, I get it in terms of it's this new thing, especially with the Democratic Party, that's saying things like, the black woman is the backbone of the Democratic Party and all this and that. But if we be honest, all this black woman leadership has not done well. It just hasn't. Now, I'm not saying that black men or white men have done better or perfect. I'm not saying that. I'm just answering your question. If you look at our communities, and they say that 75% of our households are led by black women, and you look at the condition of our families, the condition of our schools, the condition of our children, can we say that black women make good leaders? Now, I'm not saying that black men don't mess up too. Look at Brandon Johnson. Look at Eric Adams. And the list goes on in that. Look at Richard Daley and those. But I will say, to vote for anybody because they a black woman, no. They need to be qualified. They need to have a certain type of resume, I guess. They need to be foundational black, all those type of things. But to just run around supporting women just because they a woman, just because they a black woman, no, I don't subscribe to that. I think people need to be qualified for their jobs. Whatever that race is, whatever that gender is, I think you need to be qualified for your job.
Yeah, no, that's well said. All right, so
I don't want to see the chat. I know they probably going on.
I said the same thing you said though. So, and a lot of people they're on the same page, but I just want to say thank you, ladies, for coming on. I pinned P. Ray's GoFundMe in the chat, and I'm gonna put it in the description as well. And I'm also putting in the description when I clip this and do the uploads. Donate to P. Ray GoFundMe because your house, got caught on fire, electrical fire, and that's devastating, and that's a big inconvenience. You have a child. So, and first of all, Miss Thing, you need to up that dollar amount. It's a little bit too low.
It's my first GoFundMe ever, so I got
no, but you put 2 and you got a little over 2, but it needed to be 5 because
so make it 5.
Yeah, make it 5, and so I want everyone to go. Never mind my birthday season right now.
Oh, happy birthday! My birthday was Monday.
Happy birthday, Dana.
It's Libra season.
No, don't play with me, P. Ray. Your birthday October 7th?
Oh no, I'm getting this all messed up. No, ma'am, it is not. When did we go out for my birthday? We went out for my birthday. My birthday is October 2nd. Today
Mine's October 7th. I didn't know you was.
But no, wait. Today is the 9th, so my birthday was last Tuesday. Sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, yes.
We're still Libra, so.
Team Libra.
Yeah. So I celebrate for the season.
Me too. That's why I said it was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? My birthday's gonna be tomorrow too, but it's really October 2nd.
So what I'm telling everybody as a birthday present to P. Ray, click her GoFundMe, but her situation is serious, and donate because every little bit helps. Yeah, she does have home insurance, but that's a whole other.
It's yes, we have insurance. We inherited this building from my grandmother. But just help me. That's it. To answer your question, yes, we got insurance. But in the meantime, in between time, we need some help. The building, we're in units. It's a lot. Please help me. That's what I'll say. As I shared before, I think that this was some juju that happened to me because all of my broadcasting stuff burned to a crisp. I mean, my ring light, the chair that I sit in burned up, the laptop burned up. So somebody sent me some energy, but they missed and just burned up my stuff. So yeah, we got to get this, keep it moving. Even with that, I came to my mom's house. I took my shower, washed the soot stuff off me, and got back in these streets because we're in the middle of an invasion. This is not a game, y'all. Like if we don't get this together in real life in the next 4 weeks at this election, because we got 4 weeks. The election is 4 weeks from today. If we don't get this together in 4 weeks, I promise y'all we're not going to have a country no more. It's not going to be us hanging out, sitting on YouTube. No, ma'am. It's going to be people trying to break in your house. It's going to be food shortages. You might be outside in your car. Miss Jessica, she has a house. What I'm saying, you might be outside in your car because that's where you living at. Okay. Your children will be sick at school because they're going to allow more children who are unvaccinated into their classrooms and giving them measles, mumps, rubella, and meningitis. It happened right up here in the city of Chicago. This is not a game, y'all. Everybody who's saying, oh, we don't want to vote for Trump. Hold your nose and think about your grandma and vote for Trump. Because our people worked hard in this country, not just a little work, hard work, chopping cotton, adding to the U.S. tax base, and now they're giving away all of our legacy, all of our tax receipts, all of our energy to people who don't deserve it. If you love yourself, vote America first because you're an American.
And with that, I want to thank you, ladies. I definitely want to have you come back on. And listen, like we definitely going to do the housing record. We're going to record with the judge for the housing conversation, that discussion. I just have to get with his everyone's day and time and stuff like that. But I am going to invite you ladies back on, and because this is a great conversation and very informative. So I really appreciate you taking the time out tonight. And I will definitely speak to you guys soon. So appreciate y'all. Love y'all to pieces.
Thank you, Dana.
Yes. All right. So, and now I have all y'all ladies' numbers. So yeah. So Miss Doris, Jessica, I will definitely stay in contact with the day with the judge so we could pre-record about the housing situation, the housing history in Chicago. And
can I participate? That's my thing. That's what yes. Okay.
So I just need to get a day with him for him to set aside 2 hours for that, because that discussion, I don't, it can't just be 1 hour. I would say 2 hours pre-recorded, and so we could just get that out there. So I'll definitely keep in contact with everybody. But I appreciate you ladies coming on.
Thank you.
All right now. See y'all
Thank
later.
you, Dana.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Have a good night. Thank you, P. Ray.
You're welcome. Somebody asked for my cash app. How we do that?
Where is your cash? I told you your cash. Where's the cash app?
You say
I said the GoFundMe, but I did not mention cash app.
No, because some people think cash app is ghetto, so I don't be like putting it
No,
up.
I have cash app, honey. It's easy. It's easy. Just what you do is email me your cash app link.
Okay.
And I'll put it in a comment section for everyone. So because I'm going to chop this up and upload it in clips. So when they're commenting, they'll see it there. And then of course, when I have you back on, put your cash app in your description as well.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, but I got the text. I just got the text.
Okay.
Somebody said promote your show. She didn't start her YouTube yet.
No, I still got my show, Black Excellence Hour.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
Okay. Carbon said he just donated. He must have donated to the GoFundMe. Yeah. So right now, donate to her GoFundMe. And
we're still live. I'm so sorry.
And then donate to her GoFundMe. And guys, I'm gonna put her cash app in the description. But I'll give you a call, P. Ray.
Oh my God, I'm just talking. I got the camera all in my face. I did not know we were still live. Goodbye. So yeah, I put the cash app. If you want to do it, it's $, the word money, time 1002, like my birthday. So money time 1002. And I appreciate the help. We had to get a lot of new stuff. It's water damaged. It's a lot. But I appreciate the woman who asked about the insurance. Yes, keep insurance on your buildings. That's the one way that you can keep them out of other people's hands.
Right. Okay, cool. And like I said, I'm going to put the cash app in the description. All right, great. I'll give you a call.
All right. See you, Miss Dana.
All right. Bye. Thank you, guys. Where's the circle? I need the circle. I like the circle. Wait a minute. I hope nobody ain't messing with my channel, honey. I don't have time. I don't have time for it. I really don't have time for this. Oh, honey, they shadow banning like a motherfucker. And I don't got time for that. Like I said, listen, thank you to the ladies that came up. Thank you to the New Party Podcast. And listen, prayers and all positive energy to everybody in Florida, to the New Party Podcast. All of them are living in Florida right now, and they're in the Hurricane Milton pathway. So, I hope everyone comes out fine with no damage and no injuries. So yeah, thank you, Nora, from the New Party Podcast and everybody there. And yeah, and listen, I send positive energy, prayers, and everything to everyone in the pathway of Hurricane Milton and everyone who's recovering from Hurricane Helene. It's devastating. So yeah. Dana, please bring these ladies. I am. I kind of want to bring them every week, every Wednesday. And I want to switch it up too. I want people in other parts of the country to talk about what's going on at their city hall, public policies. Oh my God. I'm going to bring up what's going on in Newark tomorrow. Excuse me. But Chicago is doing the damn thing. And if you are, I don't care if you're in Atlanta, New York, New Jersey, in the Midwest, wherever you at, if you want to come on a platform and highlight what these people are not doing, your government, your local government, hit me at danawiththedata@gmail.com. I'll bring you up on the show. But I am going to have the ladies back. And I probably most likely will have them back next week. All right, guys. Yeah, so it was, listen, the views were low, but you know what? A lot of times the quality of the content, that's first of all, the quality of the content matters the most. But the quality, yeah. P-Way, why are you still there?
I'm back. No comments. That's all.
Are you
now you got me back, and I can put the camera back. Be sure to subscribe to Black Excellence Hour on Facebook. Black Excellence Hour is a show for people with high self-esteem. Sundays at 7 p.m.
You have
on
a
Intellectual Radio.
you
Ma'am,
have a banner?
yes, for Black Excellence Hour.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Email me the
Okay, I can do that.
all right.
But check us out, y'all. Actually, now if you give me 2 more minutes, I'll just give you the whole shebang. So the show is what started all of this. I was on Black Radio, WVON, for 3 years. I had the only conservative right-wing show in the city, the Black conservative show. I tell people it's like Hannity with a few ain'ts, can'ts, and finnas. We black on my show. The show was doing so well, and it was so impactful that the Democratic Party paid the station to get me off the air. And so now they play Tavis Smiley's syndicated show out of LA, his morning show in Chicago at night. And it's like 12 to 14 hours behind the news every night. But they would rather have irrelevant news than conservatives pushing this. And I know that it's effective because I know a lot of you know Mark Carter. He said when I brought him on my show, P-Ray, all of this happened because of you. You're the one who put this bug in my ear, because I had the opportunity to go to the White House to hear President Trump myself, because I was going there to talk to Ben Carson about the housing situation in the city. So we've been doing this for a long time. This is not new. It might be new to some, but we are not new to this. We are very serious. Chicago Negroes ain't never played games. This is why the 1919 riot was the race riot was so impactful here in Chicago, because that was the first time that as many white folks died as Black folks died. And they were like, whoa, leave them Negroes alone. So just know that we're going to fight for what our ancestors gave to us. And if they try to take it from us, we might burn it down. We ain't going to burn it down, but we're not going to let anybody else take it from us. So thank you for that, Miss Dana. And I didn't know you were going to bring me back. I was just scrolling in the comments. Thank you.
Damn, I didn't realize I was muted. I said I'm gonna keep in contact and we'll talk soon. Okay. All right, guys. That's it. See you tomorrow for Man Up Thursday with the Judge. And thank you, Caesar. Appreciate it. And yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Bye.